Yo, good day. We are live from SEMA.
It is afternoon on day one.
And we are full, fat, and happy.
And Jody's full, I'm fat, and
Tacos
Richard's
del
happy.
Gordo,
So,
that was awesome. Sorry we didn't bring you any, but
okay.
Rod and I ate it all.
we're just withering away here, so don't worry about it.
They're going to go in.
You
But
don't
when they're
need to
withering,
eat.
we're going to put some leather conditioning cream on you, and you won't look withered.
Well, it's shiny.
Well, you both are matching.
Yeah.
That's right. So,
Well, no, his is a bit bristly.
Yeah, it's a
This
little
is a
bit
bit like
bristly.
sandpaper.
Well,
That's
maybe
right.
you need some of that 320 grit that you
Yeah,
use
yeah,
on
yeah,
Alcantara.
Yeah.
so
why not?
SEMA 2023, is it busier or about the same or less?
This morning was slow, and there wasn't as many people around, but it's now starting to pick up again. I think it's like with a lot of shows we do, the morning always seems very slow. It's the same in England, the morning's slow. People have then had a drink, they've had some food, and then they're ready to go. They've got their fuel and they're off, and now they're marching around, and then we've got more people coming through the door now.
Yeah.
So it's good.
And it is good. There's a bunch of vendors here. It's incredible.
Oh, yeah. We've had a lot of people inquiring about training.
When you're in a perfect spot.
Oh, I know. We're literally
the
right
main
at the
door
entrance.
is
Yeah,
right
main-
there at
yeah,
the
yeah,
entrance.
yeah.
It's
You
like,
couldn't have asked for a better spot. And it's like people say to me, when do you get your big boots and go to West Hall? And I'm like, I don't actually want to go there. I prefer it here.
Oh, I love it here.
I love it here.
Yeah.
Because everybody comes here because it's like they want to see the new brands that's coming in. So I'm like, well, why would I want to move from here? I mean, we're not a new brand, but why not get to where everybody wants to come to see the new brands?
Yeah.
Why not stay here?
And it's not like it used to be where it was a tent.
No,
so
exactly.
now you're
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
you're
Yeah,
right
yeah.
in the thick of things. And
Well, yeah.
Wait, we were the tent. When we
I mean, fortunately, we've never been in that situation, but now, great. We're in a building that's not a tent, so yes, brilliant.
So one of the things that I wanted to talk about when we came to your booth was last night we were sitting down having a conversation, and we were talking about the evolution of the leather repair company logo and brand.
Yep.
And I don't think a lot of people know what the three inner triangles mean, and I thought it'd be good to visit that.
Yeah, it's obviously the brand is very unique to us because obviously our daughter designed the logo in the first place. So when it was our original triangle, and again, it's like I'll sort of touch on the summit that we do, and we asked the question the other day in there about can people put the logos up. There's obviously a reason for that because the more complex your logo is, the more difficult it is to obviously recreate it. So with our new logo, when we rebranded, we wanted to keep the ethos of what our daughter had designed for us when she was like 5. She's now 22, so it's obviously been with us for a very long time. So obviously we've got 3 sort of circuit, almost like a rounded triangle. So you've got like you've got. What's he doing now? Oh, he's pointing to the logo.
Logo.
I thought he was maybe
He
doing
wasn't
something
giving
like
you-
this.
Let's point at the logo.
So you've obviously. So you've got like 3 tiers to it. So
No,
you've
you
got,
beat Elmer Fudd, not Bugs.
yeah. So you've got 3 tiers to it. So you've got like products, training, franchising, that sort of thing. Whatever you want it to be. You could go more and have different things. You can have it in different colours. And you can do so many things with the logo. That's why when you look at one of them, we've got it so it's got almost like bamboo coming out of it because it's the eco-friendly green side of what we do.
Nice.
We can do one with a Christmas tree on it for Christmas, so it comes out the same way. But it's got the 3 tiers to it, and that's basically what it's got the 3 aspects of what we do. So it could either be training, products, and distributorships. It could be training, products, and franchising. And it's got those 3 tiers there. And that's what it's all about. And that's what the triangle, sort of resembles. And it's just that symbol for us. And it's also when you think about the 3 points of a triangle, it's very unique for the power and performance and everything else of the triangle. So, and that's what we did. Eloise did it for originally.
That's awesome.
And we've kept it to be with us. And it's everybody said, and it is sometimes frustrating because our name is very generic, and it's not a name that you can really copyright and stop other people using because anybody can say, oh, well, we're a leather repair company. But I love it when they do it because they just give brand recognition to us and they think they're doing it for themselves, and they're really shooting themselves in the foot by giving us the recognition and not them because people know who the real leather repair company is.
The real leather repair
Well, and I love your hashtag, we know leather. Right?
We know leather, yeah, exactly, yeah. And it's and we do know leather, and that's what it's all about, and you've got to know leather. It's like I had a guy come up today and he's like, tell me about your products. What can I do with leather? And I'm like, well, what leather are you working with? He's like, well, cars. I'm like, well, what type? And he's like, what do you mean, what type? He said, surely cow's cow. And I'm like, cow is cow, but what type of leather do you have? And he's like, well, I have no idea. I'm like, okay then. So I need to know what you've got before I can tell you the process.
Yeah.
And then when I started talking to him, he's like, oh my God, I never knew that. I learned so much today. Another guy came up, he's like, obviously you do leather, I've got to sort my Alcantara steering wheel out. I'm like, it's okay, that's fine. Well, you need fabric stuff. No, it's Alcantara. And I'm like, but you do realise it's not leather, right? And he's like, no, surely. I'm like, synthetic. And as soon as I told him, explained to him, and he's like, I never knew that. I've learnt something new today, you know? And so people don't realise what these different materials are either. So you can't just grab a product and stick it on it. It's not like paint on a car where you can grab a wax or a coating or a polish or a sealer and do it. Leather is very different. You've got to know what material you've got before you can go and put a protector or a juice or whatever on it. You know, you've got to know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, and the cleaners is, I think that's probably the biggest surprise to me, is the fact that just all the different materials people use in manufacturers use in an automobile. I mean, you've got, at this point now, I get into a car and I'm feeling the seats and I'm like, oh, that's plastic, that's leather. This is a coated leather, this is a painted leather. And so I think that's the big thing, is educate yourself, just like you would on a paint, whether it's single stage or it's base coat, clear coat. You handle those a little differently. You have to know the same thing with leather, because on a car on the interior, you start wiping it away and you start getting color. You've done damage.
You've taken that clear coat lacquer off there, and you're down to the paint, and that paint is only like a 40 microns, which is, it's very, very thin, and that is microscopic. When you consider a standard piece of writing paper is like 100 microns, when you've got 40 microns of paint and like 5 to 20 microns of clear coat, you're dealing with microscopic things, and you start using magic erasers, scrubber pads, scrub ninjas, whatever they're called, these things are all synthetic materials. They are just going to rip that interior to pieces. Start steaming it. How do you know it's damaged? You can't tell it's damaged until you look at it with proper machinery.
Right.
You've got to have, and again, that it comes with training, it comes with education. You can't just look at it with your eyes and say it looks fine. As you know with the Summit, you look at it with machinery and you can see damage, and you're like, what the hell is that? Well, that is hairline cracking. You start steaming that with pressure going in, you're going to start delaminating those surfaces that sat on that hide, and that's all they are. They're laminations sat on the surface of that hide.
And that is, I think that's probably the shocking things that people do, is put steam on leather, because it is a natural material, and it is soaking into it, and you're doing damage. So educate yourself.
I think that was one of the biggest takeaways from the Leather Repair Summit, just less than a month ago, right? We were down in Melbourne. Shout out to Stick to the Details for doing a great job hosting it. Paige and what's his name?
Ray something.
Ray something Evans,
Yeah, Ray something.
But anyway, just a fantastic
upside down head.
But I mean, we just had a fantastic time, not only learning, and I remember, as we were going, we had a table and you had all of those products lined up, the samples. And you were challenging us to go through them, right? And even Ray, he's been doing it for almost a year now, and he's still trying to feel it. And now you've ruined me, because every time I get into a car, I'm like, all right, wait, is this leather? What about the bolster? And so it's been a lot of fun, because now I view everything I get into and I sit on completely different than I did before the training. So.
And that's the thing with it. It's like you were saying there, and it's a different way of, it's a different concept and a different way of us sort of doing the training. And that was only really, and that was thanks to you two guys, really, for saying to me, why don't you do this? And it was such a great concept and a great idea that we've now adapted into our business, which was getting the leather and saying to the people, right, that is this leather, now tie up the products to go with it. So it makes them really think outside the box. So that's where collaborations come in to lift an industry, and that is, a lot of people are frightened to admit that they learn from things. I learned so much from you two. I learned about spraying from Rashid. You taught us about, doing special effects on leather that we just didn't even think about ever. And then we thought about that, and it's like, my God, this is phenomenal. This is going to allow our business to elevate even more from listening to you two guys, which is totally outside people. You're software experts at the end of the day. You're not leather experts, and you were teaching me things. And this is such common sense for me to adapt this into my business. And when we the first course I did when I got back home, we did exactly that, and everybody was like, well, what a great concept. And it's like, thanks to Rod and Jody, that concept was introduced to our business, and it's changed our whole outlook and ethos to do with training now.
Yeah.
Well,
Just because of that one thing.
And I think that's the thing about the strength of training, right? It's there. You always gain a different perspective.
Absolutely, yeah.
From other people's experience. You learn things that you would have never thought about, and it's just been great. And it's like, I remember the first day we were looking at your 66 different products. I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to connect it? But as we went through it and we looked at the different samples and the applications, then it started to make sense. Like, all right. And that's, to me, it just reiterated the importance of ongoing training all the time.
Right, and learning.
Daunting.
You got to learn it. It's like anything. I mean, once you know the difference between the materials and what they have, then you can kind of connect the dots. And this is the product I should use for this. And then we were able to take that training 2 weeks later, go to Indianapolis and do a training and do an interior on a car and a boat using the products that we knew we needed, and actually go in there and make a difference with that. So,
but it's to have that confidence to walk in there and do it as well, and that's the thing. And it's like the way we sort of, the way we identify leather with our little tiny machines, it gives everybody that confidence, whereas that's the hardest part when they're starting out. That little device, whether they have the one that just connects to your phone or you have an electronic one, that it's almost like this sort of little angel on someone's shoulder saying, you've got this, you can do this, because they've just got to say what they see on the screen and repeat that to the customer, and it makes them right from the beginning feel so more professional and to know so more, because they're just repeating what they see. And it gives them so much confidence. So it gives them this massive confidence boost to run their business, and that's what it's all about, and it's, people don't do that, and it's like, it's like I say, it's like marketing. If you have your blindfolds on, you're never going to know where you're going or what you're doing. It's like, your date with your first girlfriend. If you have blindfolds on, how the hell do you know who you're going to kiss? You know what I mean? You don't know what you're doing.
Don't go. So come on down to the Leather Repair Company's booth and learn about dating and leather repair.
First kisses.
Your first kiss.
And it's that sort of thing. And you've got to have an open mind to know what you're looking at, to know what you're getting.
Open mind and open eyes.
It is open mind and open eyes, because that's the only way you're going to learn from it. You don't know what you're dealing with if you have a a sort of closed mind and sort of put blinkers on, you're never going to learn and absorb that information. So you don't know what you're getting involved with. I know it's a strange analogy, but it's exactly what I use, and it's just a great one.
It's a great analogy. So North Hall.
Which booth, Rod?
I don't know.
Oh, he had to go look. Usually he knows
1, 2, 3, 5, 5.
1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 5. So come on in. We're just doing it.
Finishing up the podcast. You see here? That's why detailing out of Atlanta, Georgia, right there.
Probably one of the most humblest dudes you will ever meet. So
let me correct that. 1, 2, 3, 2, 5.
1, 2, 3, 2, 5.
1, 2, 3, 2, 5. North Hall, right by the entrance, where OEC is beside us there, Novasight here, and Sparmax next door.
Right here.
So we're over the road from
or punch it into your SEMA app and it'll lead you right to us.
Right on ahead. Just you smell the phone, it'll smell of leather.
We gotta do our pose.
There you go.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
We will see ya.